Am I the asshole for questioning mom's boyfriend, installing 5 cameras in house without telling me? I am 21 and a senior in my undergrad and live in an apartment near my college. I come home frequently on the weekends to see family, and this weekend I came home to cat sit for my mom. Her and her boyfriend are going away for a spontaneous trip, she told me yesterday, and I came home that night to take care of the cat. Her boyfriend recently moved into our house, less than a year ago, which is my childhood home. It has caused a lot of tension in my relationship with my mom. She never even directly told me that he was moving in, and I have never had a good relationship with him. For over the past decade that he has been involved with my mom. When I came home this weekend, there were cameras, 5 total, 2 outside and 3 inside in the house, and recording. No one told me about them. I know that her boyfriend installed them, as this is not something my mom would do herself. I strongly feel this has everything to do with control and nothing about safety. There were multiple windows left unlocked, so if that was really the reason to instill cameras in the family room, that is irrational. I felt so disrespected. It is common decency to tell someone who lives in this home that there are cameras installed in the common living areas and only one person, the boyfriend, can access the video feed. I confronted my mom about this and told her they both crossed a line, and I don't know how she expects me to want to live here. She wants me to move home after college before I start grad school. I already felt so uncomfortable with him living here and have addressed it in the past. She responded, saying I ruined her trip and that the cameras weren't installed to watch me. I explained that whatever the reason, they are recording every room of the house and that I should have at least been informed. She deflected, saying that most people have cameras in their home. I continued to say that she was missing the point. I just can't get through to her. It seems like this guy just is destroying my relationship with my mom, and I don't know what to do. Am I the asshole for not telling my father and stepmother about my son's birth? So, I am 26. My father, 59M, has been dating Paula, 38F, for 4 years. I never got to know her well, as I was about to move out when we met. My sister, 20s, still lives with our parents and likes Paula, but also finds her annoying. Paula has an odd attitude towards pregnancy. It became the most obvious when my cousin announced she was expecting back in 2021. Her daughter would be the first great-grandchild and wasn't sure if grandmama would be around for that. And after an emotional announcement, everyone was overjoyed, but Paula commented that she felt it wasn't a big deal and didn't get what all the fuss was about. She kept that stance for all 9 months. But once the baby was born, Paula suddenly became a bit too interested in her, with which my cousin was clearly uncomfortable with. My husband, 28, and I announced our pregnancy earlier this year. At first, my father was over the moon. Since this is his first grandchild, I believed that would last. But as I heard from my sister, Paula was just as condescending as we expected, if not more. Whenever I announced anything about my pregnancy or baby, sex, first kicks, ultrasound pictures, etc., Paula always reacted with one of 3 phrases. Okay, that's not that big a deal. Or is that all she talks about these days? I didn't care about it at first. But after a few weeks, I started to notice my father was also losing any interest he had in my pregnancy. As the months went by, he became increasingly detached and standoffish. He started to either ignore or not pay attention to most of the updates I made on my baby. He also didn't come to our name reveal. We did that instead of a gender reveal, with lunch party and a game we made up, or the baby shower, because, and I quote, Paula doesn't think it's worth it. My son was born on Halloween, and I decided not to tell my father and Paula. After almost 9 months of excuses and disinterest, I didn't see any reason to. I was in the hospital for 4 days, during which only mine and my husband's closest friends and family visited us. The day before we left, I posted a picture of my son on Instagram, and that's when my father found out. He called to ask why I hadn't told him and Paula or invited them to meet my baby. I didn't lie. They didn't make any efforts to get involved, both emotionally and physically, during my pregnancy, so they'd have to wait for baby news like everybody else. My father and Paula are furious, accusing me of using my son as a pawn and keeping them away out of pettiness. They're saying I'm holding the fact that they missed a few dumb parties against them. My husband and pretty much my whole family agrees with me. My sister, while mostly on my side, still thinks I should have told my father, since this is his first grandchild. She thinks this is all Paula's fault and I should apologize to my dad. So I wonder, am I the asshole in this?
Am I the asshole for not letting the previous owners of my newly adopted dog see him one last time, as I am moving? So a week ago, I had bought a dog from a family, moving overseas for an indefinite amount of time, while I myself am moving states in a few days and taking the dog with me. Upon buying the dog, he came with various toys, along with harnesses, leashes, and extras that came with him. I drove 1 hour and paid the agreed upon price. I instantly bonded with the dog, and he is a great dog, and I really enjoy his company. He sleeps by the foot of my bed the entire time. So recently, the previous family, who I've kept in touch with, and also sent them photos and videos of the dog, asked me to give back a muzzle and electric collar of the dog, which I obliged, but the problem was in doing so. I had to drive 1 hour back towards where they live. I apparently gave them not the muzzle I received from them, but a new one I had bought myself. So now they're again asking me to drive back to their house and give the correct muzzle to them. Now at this point I was a bit annoyed, because the muzzle was for a supposed friend of their dog, and it didn't fit. However, it's not my problem. Plus my car is a fuel guzzler, and just drinks down on all of it, so it's pretty expensive for me, and takes a lot of my time too. Around 2 hours for a round trip. Plus I didn't have to take it back, as technically, I bought them along with the dog. However, that's not where it ends. Now this lady is also claiming that her 3 kids are really missing their dog, and now want to see the dog again. Even though she told me that they shut the dog outside, most of the time as it's a large breed, and they didn't want him accidentally hurting the kids, who are all under 10. So 2 of the kids have seen the dog again, but they didn't seem very excited. So I'm retired from the Navy, and with a lot of free time under my belt usually. But I need to start driving approx 1,000 miles to my new property, leaving as soon as the weather permits. I also have a lot of last-minute necessary errands to complete before moving the states, and probably won't have time to make another 2-hour round trip to fulfill her demands. Is it really normal for the precious owners to demand seeing their dog so often again and again? And am I the asshole in this, for not letting them meet their dog in person again, and not swapping the new muzzle I gave them for the old one they gave me with the dog?